Dunlap High School. It's almost time for Mid-Illini Conference basketball. Tonight, it's the second-ranked team in 3A, the Morton Potters, traveling to take on the Dunlap Eagles. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Alongside Gavin Russell, it's Larry Larson in with you. And Gavin, the injury bug has bit both of these teams. Morton without Addie Engel, who scored 21 points in Morton's victory over Dunlap back on December 7th. And Dunlap is without their star guard, Sophia Remmel. Those injuries are going to play a big role tonight.
Well, you get mid-season, Larry, you start to get the injuries, now more so than ever with the COVID, and I think arguably for Dunlap, they've got a bigger player out, Sophia Remmel. That's just a really key player to lose in a big matchup like this, so we'll see how much it affects the game tonight.
Dunlap entering this contest at 9-10. Morton at 15-2, 6-1 in Mid-Illini Conference play. Dunlap at 4-3 in the conference. It's time for the national anthem. We'll step aside and take a listen. We'll be right back. Almost time for basketball on CSM. A wonderful pre-recorded rendition of the national anthem here in Dunlap. But Gavin, I couldn't tell a difference.
Well, hey, it's coming over great over the great sound system here, so it doesn't matter. Getting the game rolling.
Of course, moments away from Mid-Illini Conference basketball. Glad you're with us on ClutchSportsIL.com. Starting lineups being introduced right now. First for the visiting Morton Potters. They're starting off with Paige Griffin, number 3 in gray, 5'3" senior guard. Tatum Lamprecht, another key upperclassman, a 5'7" junior guard. Izzy Hutcherson, a 5'7" sophomore guard. Ellie Van Meenen, a 5'9" freshman, gets the starting nod. And, of course, perhaps the best post player in Central Illinois, Katie Krupa, headed to Harvard next year, the 6'1" senior forward.
Division I Ivy League recruit, a lot of talent right there, but it's a deep Morton team. They've got a lot of players that can hurt you, so we'll see how Dunlap can respond to that.
Dunlap, of course, without Sophia Remmel. That's definitely a tall task to handle, but Dunlap trots out Bree Erickson, a 5'8" junior guard. Lily Sutter, a 5'10" senior guard. Chandler Fassett, a 6'1" senior forward. Georgie Kirtley, a 5'9" freshman guard. And Tanea Cummings, a 5'7" senior guard forward. A lot of versatility in this Dunlap lineup, and when you look at them on paper, they really like to shoot it.
They do like to shoot it, but it was interesting to hear one of the keys of the game for Morton was to keep them out of the paint. So we'll see. Maybe they're anticipating a little bit of a change in their game plan, something like that. But, of course, both teams can get it done from all over the floor, and it's really tough to stop when you've got that many versatile threats.
Chandler Fassett against Katie Krupa. It's won by the Potters, and we're underway. Morton in gray moving from right to left. Dunlap in their home whites. Patient offense. Paige Griffin at the left wing. Worked back up top. Now to the inside. Krupa gets downhill. Look at that tenacity. Goes halfway down and out. Rebound goes down to Lily Sutter. Kirtley stopped by Hutcherson, and it's back up top to Sutter. Dunlap settling into the half-court set. Bree Erickson picked up by Griffin. Sutter again. Morton putting the clamps on early. There's Krupa with the steal across half court in transition. The no-look pass, her teammate Hutcherson almost wasn't ready. Trying to draw the foul, doesn't. Somehow gets the basketball back. Chaotic start to this contest. Here's Krupa, and she'll head to the strike.
Starting out in the zone there for Dunlap, of course they had the turnover, so hard to get set up fully, but that zone looks like it's being a little bit effective so far, kind of making Krupa dribble, not getting set up fully in the post. Of course, she's going to get 2 shots here, but different strategy coming out for Dunlap. Just trying to keep that middle contained, containing the Potters' best player.
Krupa gets the scoring started, and she goes 2 for 2. Really one of the most consistent players you'll find, not just here in Central Illinois, but across the state. Senior leader that you want on your team if you're head coach Bob Becker. Off the screen, Fassett down low is off, and she lets that one bounce, and it's going the other way.
Kind of going back to your point about Krupa, you know, I think you can tell many different sports, certain players are just more comfortable. They have more of a presence out there, and that's exactly what Katie Krupa has. She's just able to do so many different things, though.
Cummings with a defensive presence, but it's turned over by Erickson. Morton leads early, trying to extend their lead. How about a 3 from downtown, off from Lamprecht, and the rebound into the hands of Fassett. Kirtley, the freshman, slows it down, and Sutter walks it across. Sutter, the handles. Good ball movement. Dunlap with a slow offensive attack early. Pass deflected out of the hands of Kirtley. And there's another turnover, a little too high for Fassett. But there's Lily Sutter, like a defensive back, breaking up a pass. Chugs ahead, knocked away from behind. There's that good transition defense from Morton. The 3 from Erickson goes down, and Dunlap has their first lead of the day.
A little bit sloppy to start out, some turnovers on both sides.
Krupa nearly turns it over. A fortunate bounce finds the hands of Hutcherson, and it's staying here.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers so far. Both of these teams just trying to take some advantage on the transition game. Of course, that's going to be important tonight, but both teams making some defensive stops too.
Griffin at the right wing. Now Lamprecht, player that transferred from East Peoria over to Morton, mid-conference transfer. Van Menen off with the triple there, and Dunlap will have a chance to grow its lead. Morton won the first matchup between these two teams by 18 points. Wasn't particularly close, and both teams had some of their star players in that game. Sophia Remmel and Addie Engel, 2 players that are out in this one. Krupa pushes in transition. Down low, Griffin, too strong.
Good defense there by Dunlap, kind of just forcing them to take a quick shot. You know, nothing easy in transition. That was a key to the game for Dunlap.
Sutter thought about the post look. Now Georgie Kirtley slows it down. Over to the wing. Morris. First time we've called her name tonight. And it's turned over into the hands of Lamprecht. Krupa, good ball movement in the easy 2 for Hutcherson.
But when you don't defend it quite that well, you know, Morton's going to beat you with that transition game, and easy 2 right there.
That's part of what makes Katie Krupa so dangerous. She's got that passing skill. Passes like a guard, but with the size of the forward. Fadeaway, halfway down and out for Justice Cruz, who head coach Heather Cassidy says has really stepped up and has helped lead the charge with the young cast at Dunlap. Krupa on the other side against Cruz, shows off the nice move, but Sutter snares the board.
Krupa's had a few that are just in and out. You get a steal, though, and she's not going to have this one in and out.
Krupa has 4 points, and Morton has a 3-point lead.
going back to the point right before she got the steal there, you know, she's had a few go in and out. They've defended her well, but nothing you can do when she gets wide open looks like that.
Kirtley almost took a wide open look. Cruz in the post, misses short, chucks it back up, and converts that time. Lead back down to 1. Lamprecht off the mark. Rebound stays into the hands of Cruz. Rather, that's Cummings who walks it up. Cummings, pickpocketed by Lamprecht, gets it back, and the sloppy play continues. That's a foul there against Morton. And Gavin, we almost saw a little bit of this in the JV game. Really slow offensive start as we enter the first mask timeout. Both teams still in single digits.
I think both teams are trying to do not too much, but they're really trying to make that play. You know, they might see a player for a second that's wide open. But both teams are doing a really good job of getting their hands in the passing lanes. You know, they're not allowing too many easy opportunities, but sometimes these turnovers can lead to the more wide open opportunities, and we've seen Morton take advantage of a few of those already.
You know, Gavin, we talked to both head coaches very briefly before the contest, and they both mentioned one key to the game for their respective sides. For Dunlap, it was the transition defense, and we've already seen that come into play. For Morton, it's the paint, and when they push the pace, they've gotten those easy looks in the paint. So both those keys really coming into play early.
Well, the transition defense for Dunlap, you know, just keeping Katie Krupa particularly off balance, you know, not allowing her to just get a wide open layup. She's going to make those just about every time. Don't allow anything easy, and I think that's kind of the message there to the Dunlap huddle. You know, as for Morton, we've seen Dunlap try to push the ball inside a number of times. They're just getting the hands in the passing lanes. You know, don't even allow the player to get the ball in the post, to get the ball in the paint. Just try to rip it away altogether, create some of those transition opportunities. Defense can create good offense sometimes.
Definitely can. Morton with a 1-point lead at the first masked timeout. Mid-Illini Conference matchup between 9 and 10 Dunlap and 15 and 2 and third-ranked Morton. Glad you're with us on CSM. First presentation of Clutch Sports Media in the calendar year. Bree Erickson will trigger it in for the Birds. It's into the hands of Lily Sutter. Back to Erickson. High-low pass to Cruz. Can't get it to go.
Cruz is playing really aggressive, though. I can see why she's been such a big asset in the last few games for Dunlap.
Maggie Hobson over to Griffin. Morton getting into their bench. Hobson thought about the three. Instead, it's batted away. Down low, Griffin. Jump stop. Good ball movement for the Potters. Patient look, gets to Krupa, and she's fouled.
Let them have the possession for long enough. Good ball movement. You know, overall, Dunlap didn't give up any open looks there despite the ball moving around quite a bit, but sooner than later, Katie Krupa is just going to try to take it herself. Got fouled that time, goes to stripe for another chance for some free throws.
Krupa 3 for 3 at the stripe tonight. And if you're Morton, you're hard-pressed not to get Krupa at least a touch on every single possession. You can tell the offense really revolves around her.
Well, it does. You know, as you mentioned earlier, she can do a lot, you know, even with her size more of a forward. She can facilitate like a guard, so she's just really a versatile asset that can do a lot on offense for the Potters.
Krupa with 6 points to lead all scorers. Morton with an early lead. Cruz in trouble. Erickson on the drive. Down low, Cruz through the double team. What a finish for the sophomore.
She has no problem just going up aggressively, trying to push the paint for her.
Morton hanging on to a 1-point lead. Amelia Miller. Lamprecht to Krupa. Passes out of the post. There's that court vision, and Hobson can't bury the three.
They've had a few looks from three. You know, they're a team that likes to shoot a lot from downtown. Those will start falling sooner than later, you'd have to think, if you're the Potters.
Erickson drives on Lamprecht. Now it's Sutter. Sutter, a senior leader for this Dunlap Eagles squad. According to Coach Cassidy, she's really turned it on lately. And there's a steal and a pass ahead to Hobson to the left block and in.
And that defense getting the hands in the passing lanes, taking away all the opportunities. Morton's done a really nice job of that in the first frame.
Morris lost the handle. Erickson got it back. Approaching the 30-second mark in the first quarter. Open from 14. Jumper off from Peyton Haley. Morton can hold for the final shot if they want. They're going pretty quick. Nondescript signals from the sidelines from Bob Becker. Now it looks like they will take that final shot. Lamprecht, the runner, denied. Rebound loose into the hands of Dunlap. Sutter at the horn, falls short, and it's a three-point game after 8 minutes.
Well, I'll say this for Dunlap's defense, allowing 10 points there to start things out. It could be far worse. Of course, Morton has a lot of dangerous threats, and one of the players they've shut down so far is Tatum Lamprecht. She has not really had much going on. I think she's missed 2 or 3 shots in the early going. They've had, helped Katie Krupa, pretty average. She's gotten her opportunities. So Dunlap's defense looking pretty good so far, but I think you go the other way. Morton's defense has also looked very good. They are forcing turnover after turnover, not allowing a whole lot of easy buckets on the inside, and, of course, defending the perimeter well. So defensive battle so far in this game, and just kind of who's getting the best opportunities. I think that's how it come out tonight.
In case you're just joining us, I don't think the score of this game indicates the pace. Morton has really tried to push it, but I think the slower and more low-scoring this game is, the more it favors Dunlap without their leading scorer, Sophia Remmel.
I think they want to slow down that pace, particularly to just kind of contrast Morton, to be able to kind of set up their offenses. We've seen on a few plays already, Justice Cruz getting some looks on the inside, even when she's double-teamed, putting it up towards the basket, maybe trying to get an offensive rebound, just trying to dictate the pace of play, and they're down 3 because of it.
Justice Cruz leading Dunlap with 4 points. The sophomore making an impact early in her varsity career. Kirtley, the freshman, in trouble, makes a freshman mistake. Gets Lamprecht going the other way. Drives baseline, the dish, and the friendly roll for Ellie Van Meenen.
All starts with the defense. Create the turnover and get a good look at the other end.
Sutter looking for a response. Passes out of the post. Morris doesn't hit anything, but it's staying here off the fingers of Lamprecht.
You'll take that, though. We've seen Dunlap go inside with the ball a whole lot. Haven't taken a lot of three-point shots, but take those open looks. Never know what might go in. Of course, threes are big in this game.
Kirtley surveys the floor. Difficult pass, but a great play by Sutter. She'll pull up from 14. Can't hit. Put back, blocked by Krupa. Fassett couldn't finish there. More transition offense for Morton. Van Meenen's shot was blocked. Lamprecht couldn't get it. And it's tipped out of the baseline off of Dunlap. More really, I don't want to call it sloppy play, but a lot of second chances for both teams that they just have not capitalized on.
We've also seen a lot of contact on the inside, and, they're letting them play pretty good, so interesting to see how that goes forward.
Krupa passes out of the triple team, and it's deflected. Sutter will slow it down. Cruz. Now Fassett in the high post. Down low, and the shot off the glass off from Kirtley. There go the Potters again. Hutcherson races ahead and can't get the English. Dunlap trails by 5. Morris walks it up, runs into a brick wall in the paint. Here's Sutter. Has it tipped away. The senior showing composure. Kirtley in some trouble. Finds Cruz. Back to Kirtley. The freshman has not scored yet. Trying to change that. She can't yet. The rebound batted around to Lamprecht and the Potters.
We saw Dunlap go to Cruz a lot in the first quarter. It looks like they put Krupa on her to kind of slow that train down a little bit.
Krupa open on the perimeter, passed up the three. Krupa can knock down that perimeter shot, but we have not seen it yet tonight. She elects to drive. Out around the perimeter with Hutcherson. Now Krupa again. Backing down the freshman. Kicks out of the post. Krupa down low. Into the hands of Lamprecht. The baseline J falls short, and Sutter rips away the board. But it's back into the hands of the Potters. Krupa, cross-court pass. More great ball movement. Nothing to show for it yet. Krupa through the double team. Nothing but nylon.
That's really one of the first possessions we've seen in the half court for offense for either side. It's got much going outside, you know, a layup in the paint, getting the jumper to go near the free throw line, Katie Krupa.
Lily Sutter slows it down. Dunlap has not scored in a few minutes. Morton ahead by 7 as Kirtley's in trouble and has it batted into the backcourt. Dunlap catches a bit of a break. Kirtley across the timeline. Sutter for 3. And a whistle goes against Dunlap. And Gavin, they got to stop the slide at some point. What is it for the Eagles?
Well, they got to just have a good possession in the half court on offense. You know, maybe that does come, though, from getting something in transition. They've done a good job defensively, you know, not allowing Morton to get much going. But offensively, you've got to find a way to spark it. Maybe consider a timeout here sooner than later.
Griffin passes into the post, Lamprecht. Drive by Hutcherson, and it's a turnover. There goes Sutter. Sutter, a foot race. Can't finish. Erickson. Same result, and a foul. Sends it the other way on the offense. Once again, Gavin, more transition opportunities, a second chance opportunities, and nothing to show for it.
That looked like just what the doctor ordered, you know, getting 2 on the quick, fast break there for Suter, but can't finish, and they had a couple other looks at it. Morton did a nice job getting back, and eventually ball goes the other way.
Potters lead by a touchdown here in the second quarter. In case you're just joining us, Morton's offense has really picked up and has dictated the pace of the game, but Morris gets the steal and will head to the stripe after she draws the block.
It's a good take right there from Morris. She just going full steam ahead and not really a good opportunity to get positioned to take the charge. So smart idea to just, you know, push ahead. You know, you either get the ball to go in or you get 2 shots, and of course she's going to shoot free throws after the mask timeout.
Of note, that's Ellie Van Meenen's second foul of the game, the starting freshman guard for Morton in a little bit of early foul trouble at the second quarter mask timeout. Glad you're with us on CSM, and of course we want to remind you that your advertisement could be right here on Clutch Sports Media's next production. We've got plenty of room for advertisements and sponsorship placement, so if you're interested in that, shoot us an email, clutchsportsil@gmail.com. Larry Larson, Gavin Russell, Cody Roskins, Joey Wright, along for the ride. Also Brock Alkire on our camera tonight. Thanks to Brock, doing a great job so far here in Dunlap. Dunlap student, glad he's along for the ride. Gavin, this run for Morton has really dictated the last few minutes of the game. What have you seen from the Potters that was different from the first quarter?
Well, it looks like they're almost, when they get into the half court, you know, they're being patient with their offense. Of course, when they get opportunities to get out and run, you know, they're going to take that. But they're moving the ball around a lot. You know, Dunlap's running a 2-3 zone most of the time. So work the ball inside out. You know, you get Katie Krupa kind of around the free throw line area, you know, kind of high paint area. She can kind of kick out to somebody on the 3. They can in turn kick it to somebody in the post. So there's a lot of different options they have. You know, they've missed a few opportunities, but of course they're up by 7 right now. A lot of momentum going to the Potters, but again, 2 free throws coming out of the timeout for Dunlap, and it would be a big momentum changer if she can nail both of these.
Kelly's Morris, the 5'4" freshman. Big opportunity. And the first one falls short. 3:45 to go, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. Second quarter. Dunlap trying to hit that double-digit mark. And Morris goes 0 for 2, but the long rebound goes into the hands of Cummings. Here's Fassett in the post against Krupa, too hard off the window. Krupa ahead to Lamprecht, has the inside position, can't get it to go, and neither can Krupa. Great defense by the Eagles. Erickson jets ahead. Cummings almost lost it. Drives baseline, the runner floats over the rim.
So you're creating some opportunities, just nothing's falling for either side right now.
Hobson playing catch with Lamprecht. Lamprecht picked up by Erickson. Now Griffin over to the left side, and Hobson. Krupa out of the post, back to Hobson. Cross-court pass, Lamprecht, a deep 3, comes up short, and a loose ball foul will go against Dunlap. That foul against Lily Sutter. And that's her second. So that's something to keep an eye on. Sutter, of course, senior leader for Dunlap, who is already without their star junior guard, Sophia Remmel. There's another whistle. This one's going to go against Cummings. That's Cummings first. Team's 5th here in the first half. Morton with 2 team fouls. Pace of play has been pretty good up until now. It's gotten a little choppy. Krupa around the rack and in.
Offense was getting a little stale there for Morton, so Katie Krupa just took it into her own hands and gave the Potters 2 more.
Krupa into double figures with 10 to lead all scorers. Morton leads by 9, their biggest lead of the contest. Sutter in trouble. Shovels it to Erickson. High-low to Fassett. Will get her to the line.
Once again, earlier they had some free throw opportunities, missed them both, and it didn't result in any points. So get yourself back on the board. They've held scoreless so far in this period, and needs any points they can get right now.
Fassett off at the free throw line. Dunlap 0 for 3 at the stripe this quarter, and that's starting to feel bigger and bigger. Of course, getting to the stripe can be a momentum swinger, but if you miss those free throws, it kind of counteracts that. Morton still with a 9-point lead. Krupa has it taken away. The Potters recover. Gracie Junis. Now Griffin. Junis getting her first minutes of the contest, also playing the sophomore game, and she gets on the board, and Morton's lead is 11.
Morton starting to peel away with this one. So again, needs that momentum shift.
Fassett looking for Cummings, and instead she finds the bleachers.
I think there's just a lot of miscommunication right now. I think sometimes when you feel you're in desperation mode a little bit, everybody feels like I want to be the one to get that bucket to kind of change the tide, so to speak, but got to get everybody on the same page, and it looks like Dunlap's just out of sync here in the second quarter.
In case you're just joining us, Dunlap has not scored since the beginning of the second quarter. High-low pass to Krupa and the finish. Katie Krupa, the Harvard Crimson signee, is lighting it up with 12 points. Justice Cruz blocked by Krupa.
A little bit of a slow start for Katie Krupa, but she's making her presence felt here in Dunlap, not leaving anything to chance, and they take a big lead winding down in the second quarter.
Bob Becker takes a full timeout as Morton's lead has swelled to 13 points with under 2 minutes to go until the halftime break. And Gavin, this was a very, very competitive game in the first quarter with Both teams missing a star player, Dunlap, Sophia Remmel, and Morton, Addie Engel. So both teams down a player, but both teams adjusted well, and now Dunlap has hit a snag. They got to get something before the halftime locker room. You really do not want to enter halftime on this slide.
Well, getting shut out in a quarter is never a good thing, but got to give a lot of credit to Morton. Their defense is playing really strong. They're not allowing good opportunities. I think Dunlap's defense had also been playing well. I think just because of their slide on offense, it's starting to kind of get at them on both sides of the ball. So it's all about momentum. Again, this game is a lot about who's carrying the momentum, which way is it going. Right now, Morton has a lot of it, and again, Dunlap just needs to find a way to respond. So far, they haven't been able to.
Erickson to trigger it in, finds Cruz in the post, and she can't end the drought. Morton trying to tack on more before half. Krupa. Up top, Griffin. Morton in no rush. Krupa, the hezzy, the kick. The three from Lamprecht. Comes up short. She cleans up her own mess. Trying to find Krupa. Sutter bowls her over. No turnover, but no whistle. Griffin open from downtown. That one rattles in. Gavin, I had noticed that Morton's offensive attack had not really gotten to the outside yet, but if they start making those, look out. Sutter, the floater. Dunlap still off the board. Morton with a gargantuan run. Krupa, wide open. Too much. Rebound bobbled into the hands of Griffin. Krupa, drive and kick. Back to Griffin. Senior orchestrator. Hobson over to Lamprecht. Under 10. As Bob Becker yells, weave. Lamprecht with 5. Krupa with 3, with 2. The triple. That time she got it. What a way to end the first half for the senior. Katie Krupa with 15 points and Morton with a 19-point lead.
Wow, what a finish to that quarter for Morton. I don't think they had made one three-pointer up until that last minute or so, and they hit 2 right there. Katie Krupa putting the icing on the cake with that 3 at the horn. Just a really good job there from the Potters, really starting to take control of this game heading into the locker room.
And we've talked a lot about the Morton offense, but how about the Morton defense holding Dunlap to under 10 points at the halftime break?
Well, Dunlap had a few opportunities in this quarter. Of course, they couldn't capitalize at the free throw line and so on, but they did a really good job making life difficult for them on offense, not allowing too many open shots, and, of course, it results in them shutting them out in the second quarter. So Morton making a big stand on both sides of the ball.
Dunlap with plenty of opportunities in the paint, Gavin, but they just were not able to finish, and I think it goes back to Bob Becker's key to the game, which was dominate the paint on both sides. They've done such a good job against the sophomore Justice Cruz, against the senior Lily Sutter, as well as Tanea Cummings, also a senior.
Well, they have done a really good job in the paint, but I think every time they kick the ball back out, they get stuffed down a little bit in the paint. They try to kick it back out. There's a player right there not allowing any open shot for 3. I think if they had more opportunities from the outside, they might take them. They really just don't have, much places to go if you're Dunlap. So maybe change up the offensive scheme a little bit, maybe try to get some pick and rolls or weave a little bit. Just got to try to figure something out to kind of turn the tides in the second half.
15 first half points from Katie Krupa has Morton ahead by 19 on the road at Dunlap. Stay with us on CSM. Welcome back inside Dunlap High School. Clutch Sports Media bringing you Mid-Illini Conference basketball. Larry Larson, Gavin Russell in with you, and Morton dominates the second quarter, rattling off a 16-0 second quarter. That's the story so far, Gavin.
It was a tough second quarter for Dunlap, of course. You know, as we mentioned at the open, they have a couple of players out. You know, they've got some injury problems, but Morton just really shown the dominance on both ends of the floor, particularly on defense to allow 0 points. And, of course, that late run where hit a couple of threes to end out the quarter. So Morton in full control. Dunlap will need a big-time response to get back into this one.
In case you're just joining us, Morton is without Addie Engel, who dropped 20-plus points in Morton's first victory over Dunlap back in December. But senior Katie Krupa is leading all scorers with 15 points. As for Dunlap, they're playing without two of their backcourt stars in Julia Solberger and Sophia Remmel. Potters with a chance to open up their lead even further to start the third quarter. Lamprecht drives and kicks, gets it back, thought about the three, good hesitation, and instead she comes up short on the runner.
Let's see if Dunlap can maybe push the pace. They've played a very slow offensive game up to this point. See if they maybe change the tide a little bit.
Great pass and a finish. Out of the hands of Sutter into the hands of Fassett. And Dunlap has now done what they didn't do the entire second quarter. Put the ball in the bucket. On the other end, the response goes down for Lamprecht.
Just a matter of time. Tatum Lamprecht had a few opportunities. A couple of threes haven't gone in. Right there, gets started with a triple.
Just like that, the lead is 20. Kirtley around the arc to Cummings, and it's batted away. In and out of the hands of Fassett. Griffin jets ahead, kicks to Krupa, the corner three. Comes up short. Rebound Van Meenen, and the second chance bucket.
Really nobody there to rebound for Dunlap. Dunlap missed an opportunity to get a big stop there.
Cummings, the mid-ranger, is off. Hutcherson pushes the pace. Lamprecht slows it down. Krupa out of the post. Van Meenen can't keep the hot hand. And a foul called against Dunlap. Looked like that one might be on Sutter, and it is. That's Lily Sutter's third personal.
Well, it looks like even though we're just a couple minutes out of the break, Morton is just wearing Dunlap down, looking a little sluggish coming out here.
Izzy Hutcherson, the 5'7" sophomore, over to Lamprecht. Looking for Krupa. Morton now, slow and methodical. Griffin blocked by Fassett, but she gets it back. No breaks going the Eagles' way, but that one does. Krupa a little too far on the lead pass. Dunlap trying to cut into that lead. Sutter to the bench, along with Fassett. Peyton Haley in, as well as Justice Cruz. And Ellie Van Meenen checks out for Morton. Gavin, one thing that's amazed me about Morton, I've watched them play a few times this year, but didn't really realize how young their team was as Dunlap rushes ahead in transition. And Kirtley, a freshman, is with it. Both these teams pretty young and a lot of up-and-coming talent. That's a turnover for Dunlap, but you look at Morton, they've got a lot of sophomores in the mix and a freshman in Van Meenen, 5'9" freshman guard, as well as Hutcherson, a sophomore. Lamprecht, only a junior. Gracie Junis, a sophomore, getting some minutes. Nearly an and one on the triple will send Lamprecht to the free throw line for three. But the Potters, needless to say, they've got a machine. Anybody around Central Illinois recognizes that by this point.
Yeah, they have a few big seniors, Larry. You know, Morton will lose Katie Krupa, Maggie Hobson, a couple of notable names for them, but really good programs continue to turn out really good talent, and that's something that Morton will continue to do over the next few years, in addition to what they have coming back.
Morton, the perennial powerhouse, ranked second in Class 3A, and looks like they're going to stay there. New rankings coming out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even tonight. Maybe I missed it. Who knows? Lamprecht up to 5 points. Morton 33, Dunlap 9. Eagles trying to get into double figures. Cummings pops it back out to Erickson. Nearly pickpocketed by Lamprecht. Dribbles around Krupa, and she turns it away.
Again, not much going for Dunlap. Rim protecting, Katie Krupa's doing all. They're forcing turnovers, just not a lot of opportunities. And again, Morton, firm control of this game.
Kaser just joining us. It was a competitive first quarter, but Morton held Dunlap scoreless in the second. Krupa couldn't go behind the back, and she walked with it. All smiles on her part, but goodness, that would have been one heck of a play.
She's looking to make all the big plays, and I guess with the lead that you've got right now, might as well try something, right? Maybe try to put it into your bag of tricks. Didn't quite work out that time. Maybe you got to revisit that in the practice this week.
I think I heard the Harlem Globetrotters music in the background somewhere, making Curly Boo proud. You look at Morton's stat leaders, Katie Krupa, 15 points. Katie Krupa leading in assists. Katie Krupa leading in rebounds. All those unofficial. Cody Roskins, our stat man tonight. Krupa with 15 points. Leading the charge in a big way. Morton looking to improve to 6-1 in the Mid-Illini Conference. Their lone loss to the Metamora Redbirds, who are also state ranked. Receiving votes, at least, I think.
The Mid-Illini is just a great conference for girls basketball this year. You know, about half the conference is just absolutely, has some dominant teams, not to mention a team like Dunlap has a lot of potential, just kind of fought through some adversity so far. Mid-Illini basketball is really on an uptrend this year.
Bree Erickson fouled in a double team. Paige Griffin there. Morton has switched to a zone now, and that's something that head coach Bob Becker talked to us about pregame. He said in their last matchup, Morton was a little weak in the man-to-man defense, but they've improved upon that. That's been a focus in practice that Coach Becker's really been harping on, and he said, we'll see how long we stay in man, and they've stayed in man until this point. Three from the corner, Morris off. Rebound into the hands of Hobson.
Good eyes there from Justice Cruz, looking for the open shooter on the wing.
Lamprecht was open, and the rebound's headed the other way. Well, Gavin, plenty of time left in this contest. It's hard to see it that way if you're Dunlap, but about 12 minutes left in this one. With a big run, they could cut it down. That second quarter will kill you, though. Intentional foul called against Dunlap as Hobson was off to the races.
Yet another turnover on Dunlap, and that's just what's killing them. They're not even getting shots half the time. You know, they're giving the ball away before they can even get an opportunity. Going back to their last possession, they had a open three there on the wing. Missed that shot, but I think if Dunlap maybe kind of keeps their eyes up a little bit, kind of looks around a little more, they're going to find some of their teammates a little more open, be a little more unselfish with the ball.
Krupa really hasn't come out all game, and she picks up an assist as Izzy Hutcherson drains it from the top of the arc. Sutter back into the contest, and she traveled. That's just something that happens, frustration building up. It's easy to get distracted. And that takes us to our masked timeout. You look at the facial expressions for Dunlap, not happy. You look at the facial expressions for Morton. I wouldn't say they're all smiling or maybe even letting loose, but a little happier in that Morton huddle.
Got to stay serious, even with the big lead. You never want to chance anything, of course, but you want to keep finding ways to improve throughout the game. And through all the high school games that we've seen in the past year on Clutch Sports, even the games that aren't as close, I always say you got to find ways to take positives. For Dunlap, you're shorthanded. Just find some things that maybe can work in the coming games. Find a rotation that works. find a play that works, something like that. Just have some positives to take away. And, of course, if you're Morton, you're in firm control right now. You got to feel good about that. But, keep it up. Really keep that tenacity. Really show what you've got left in the tank and show you can play down the stretch too.
Dunlap searching for answers without two starters in Julia Solberger and Sophia Remmel. Both those players out, as Remmel suffered an ankle injury last game, and head coach Heather Cassidy said that Solberger's likely going to be out until the end of January. So the sooner the better for Dunlap. If they can get comfortable playing without those two, they could be dangerous when they get them back, but that really has not been the case tonight. Morris forces a turnover. Nice pass in transition. Erickson can't finish. Good rebound, contested for Van Meenen. And Morton breaks the press. And Krupa is fouled. One thing that stood out to me on that possession on the other end for Dunlap was the bench energy. Gavin, as they saw the great pass, they kind of erupted. They're still engaged into the contest, and I think that's a sign of a good culture, a good program. Got to stay engaged in the game. Krupa, contested layup is off, and Sutter the rebound.
Maybe Dunlap just tries to just kick up the pace a little bit, turn up the heat, see if that starts to work, and so far it looks like they're trying to push it a little bit.
Erickson into the corner for Peyton Haley. Justice Cruz, good ball movement. Triple from Sutter goes down.
That wasn't exactly, them finding the quickest way to score, but they, weren't slow. They weren't just holding the ball.
Good defense by Morris as she poked it away from Hutcherson.
And, they're just really trying to just push the pace a little bit, find ways to get scoring quicker, kind of abandoning that slower mentality. So maybe trying to match Morton a little bit, catch him off guard a little bit. And, of course, Katie Krupa coming out of the game. Big opportunity maybe for them to go on a bit of a run here.
Krupa checks out for one of the first times tonight, if not the first time. Senior leading all scorers with 15 points. The drive, no foul as Miller was looking for contact. Van Meenen walked. Maybe that door creaking open for the Eagles.
It's a large task to come back from the deficit that they're down. But again, find positives, find ways to get yourself back into this one. Cut it to a more respectable deficit, if you want to say that.
Sutter in trouble, and she traveled. And she turns to her coach, Heather Cassidy, and says something to the likes of, "Where did I travel?" Instead, it's going the other way. Sutter's a player that probably needs to fill it up a little bit more in this contest if Dunlap wants a closer game. They work through a camera setting here. Morton with it on the other end. And no finish down low for Ellie Van Meenen. And it's headed the other way with Dunlap. Bree Erickson jets into the paint, tries a layup off the glass, no good. Rebound into the hands of Junis. Back following the action. Thanks for bearing with us. And there's another travel. Hutcherson dragged the pivot foot, perhaps.
A lot of travels here in this third quarter. A couple of perplexed players wondering, where did I travel? But official had an eye for it. Makes the call. That's like the third or fourth travel. See if Cody Roskins has a stat on travels in the quarter.
Maybe we'll make him rewind the broadcast and count them up. I don't know if he's been keeping tallies. Morton with a big lead in a Mid-Illini Conference clash against Dunlap. Justice Cruz is fouled. Glad you're with us on CSM. Tough one for Dunlap, playing without Sophia Remmel and Julia Solberger. Morton looking just fine without Addie Engel, a star sophomore, out with a back injury. That's something that she's been dealing with for a while, according to head coach Bob Becker. The freshman currently in trouble, hands off to the senior Sutter. Under a minute to go in quarter number 3. Sutter open from the corner, rattles in. Sutter up to 6.
Started to turn it on a little bit, catching Morton lagging a little bit there, taking advantage and making a couple of three-pointers.
Open 3 on the other end, falls well short for Miller. And it's off of Sutter, so it'll stay on this end with 31 and change on the clock in quarter number 3. Good ball movement from Morton off the inbounds. And it's nearly chased down by Morris. Good hustle play near half court for both sides, but the Potters come out with it. Van Meenen, now with Hutcherson. Van Meenen again with 10 seconds. Goodness, has Morris been great on defense this possession. Timeout taken by Bob Becker. Morris, an absolute pest in the most positive way possible for Dunlap. And in fact, they forced a turnover, no timeout.
Well, I was thinking, maybe they took a timeout, but with 7.2, we kind of just, let it play out. Maybe they got a foul, but, yeah, forcing a turnover right there. And Bob Becker puts in the first unit again. Not liking what he's seeing from the bench. Morton out the quarter. Morton
trying to hang on to that 20-point lead. Sutter from way downtown falls short, and that lead stays above 20 points at 21. Morton 36, Dunlap 15 after 3 on Clutch Sports Media. Larry Larson, Gavin Russell, Cody Roskins, Joey Wright, Brock Alkire here in Dunlap. Thanks for joining us on your Tuesday night for some Mid-Illini Conference basketball. Morton, second-ranked team in 3A. Dunlap entering the contest at 9-10, hovering right around 500. Been a tough season for Dunlap after they won the Mid-Illini Conference regular season title last year, as they defeated Morton to help win that conference title in the regular season. They eventually fell in the tournament to Washington, and Morton would win the conference tournament. Of course, that's as far as the playoffs went last year, but you got to figure that maybe that revenge narrative might be in the minds of the Potters.
Well, for certainly, I think that's a big reason why they're keeping the foot on the gas pedal late here. And of course, it goes, what can you take away going forward? So, if Bob Becker doesn't exactly like what he sees from the bench unit, might want to get the starters back in there to kind of, again, establish that presence. So far, Morton's just done a really good job from top to bottom. Of course, you're going to have your little mistakes here and there, but they've done a good job rebounding, not letting that affect the game too much, and keeping Dunlap off balance just about all night.
Georgie Kirtley will inbound to get us started in quarter number 4. Sutter darts into the backcourt. Instead, Kirtley looks ahead to Fassett. Kirtley, the dribble drive. Kirtley, a player that's going to get better as her career goes on, starting as a freshman. Not too shabby, though. Fassett down low, kicks to Sutter, open in the corner, too strong. Rebound finds Fassett. Contested layup goes in. That lead is back down to 19.
Quick shot. Didn't get to go the first time, but fought for the offensive rebound and got the second chance points to go. Doing a better job of that here in the second half is Dunlap.
A steal from Morris and the score.
Morris done a really good job on ball defense, gets another steal.
Morris chucks it up, can't get it to go, and the follow and finish for the freshman Kirtley. Here comes Dunlap, and a push called against Kirtley. Got to be careful there as Sutter lets her know. But how about Dunlap? Some great fight down the stretch, still plenty of time left.
Going high gear to start things out. They feel that they're right in this game, making things interesting.
Katie Krupa in the backcourt. Morton breaks the press this time. Griffin all alone on the perimeter. And there I think you see the strategy for Morton. They're really trying to slow it down as Maria Lopko misses. Sutter ahead, Morris. Kirtley from deep, almost had it. Lamprecht battles for the rebound. Lopko Now Krupa. Great cycling the ball for Morton. And Krupa is smacked in the face. Heard that one from up here. That foul there on Morris. That's her first. Morris has been outstanding on the defensive end.
Morris has been probably the best on-ball defender out of anybody in this game. She's making life very difficult. She's playing very aggressively, forcing turnovers, not allowing any good opportunities.
Krupa, the hezzy, back out and a walk. Another easy call for the official there. And Dunlap will have a chance to extend its run. Morton comes out with full court press.
Dunlap might have gotten their second wind here as, again, they're really going full throttle.
Fassett chucks it over the head of Cruz, and you saw the facial expression, Fassett almost covering her face after that one. She knew that was a bit much as soon as she let go of it. Lamprecht to the left block, to the free throw line.
Morton's, trying to slow this game down. That's not a bad way to do it. Just take it right inside, get to the free throw line. Chance to add a couple at the stripe. But Dunlap, kind of the game plan has kind of been reversed here in this fourth quarter. Morton going from fast pace to now a much slower pace. Dunlap, of course, picking up, trying to score quickly. Dunlap making a final push, trying to get back into this game.
Morton in the bonus as Lamprecht goes 1 for 2. 6 minutes square to go in this one. In case you're just joining us, it was a competitive first quarter as Morton led Dunlap by 1 score, but then Morton held Dunlap scoreless in the second quarter. A 16-0 charge for the Potters put them up big time as we get a bench warning against Dunlap as a block is called against the Eagles. Heather Cassidy, none too pleased.
I believe that one went against Morton. Not sure why they would be getting a bench warning. Motion's running high, perhaps.
Morris, the feed into Cruz, finds an open Fassett. She can't drain it from 17. Cruz, the stick back, and the foul.
Cruz is in the mix every single time. Katie Krupa has that height advantage, but Cruz is not letting that stop her. She is playing with aggressive basketball. She's gotten several offensive rebounds tonight. Hasn't been able to finish on every opportunity, but gets to the stripe here. And these are big opportunities to get yourself points. They had a few opportunities in the first half. Didn't make any of their free throws. Just got to be able to take advantage of times at the stripe.
Dunlap is 0 for 6 at the free throw line tonight with that latest miss from Cruz. Not a ton of free throws, but if you make all of those, it's within a 10-point game. Krupa fouled. A bit of a late whistle from the official there, but no less. Krupa going to the stripe.
Heather Cassidy could not believe it. She had her hands on her head. She was not particularly loving that call, but of course, don't want to give them no technical fouls or anything, give them any extra opportunities.
I suppose Coach Cassidy would be tempted to say ball don't lie in that situation, as it turns out to be a good foul. Krupa misses her first free throw tonight. Krupa still on 15 points. Her mark that she had in the first half, and there's her first second half bucket. Erickson back in the contest as Eagles go to Cruz. Erickson charges ahead, finds Sutter. 5 minutes to play now. Deep three from Morris falls short. Strong board for Krupa. Krupa going to work in the post. Good pass. Hutcherson, the baseline J, can't fall. Morris jets ahead, showing off the speed. It's a foot race and an off-balance bucket.
Morris has been really impressive in this fourth quarter, kind of nearly single-handedly getting Dunlap a little closer in this one, coming off the defense.
Wide open three from Hobson goes down. That feels a little bit like it could be the dagger. Dunlap needs a response, and they need it quick. And then some more. Sutter slips through the defense, kicks to Erickson. And there's the response.
Well, the shots are starting to fall. Maybe a little bit too late. Takes a timeout here. Looks maybe they'll extend it into the mask timeout, but halfway through the period, making things interesting are the Eagles.
It is a full timeout just seconds before the mask timeout for Dunlap. And Gavin, what's the message in that huddle if you're head coach Heather Cassidy?
I would just say, got to keep fighting. What they've been doing here in this second half, particularly the fourth quarter, has been a whole lot better. They're creating opportunities. They're starting to finish on some of those opportunities. Just kind of keep the foot on the gas pedal, even if they don't come out with the win. If you can make it interesting, kind of maybe make Morton think if you were to meet up with them again down the road, you never know.
In case you're just joining us, a 16-0 second quarter run is the difference. It has Morton well ahead of Dunlap in a Mid-Illini Conference matchup in quarter number 4. Katie Krupa leading all scorers with 16 points. Morton shooting 50% from the floor. Dunlap's field goal percentage has risen from below 16% at the half to now at the 30% mark. Ellie Van Meenen will trigger it in. And it's in and out of the hands into Morris. The drive by Paige Steffen can't go. Door creaked open again for the Eagles, but could not capitalize. And Hobson couldn't go coast to coast. And that takes us to the mask timeout. Moments ago, Gavin, we were talking about the impact that Kelly Morris has had on the defensive end. She's got 6 steals in this game.
Yeah, I think most of those steals have come in this second half. She is just really making life difficult for her opposition. Just getting her hands in those passing lanes. She's keeping up very well, very quick. One of those, maybe more of an unforced error on Morton, but again, right place, right time.
Want to give a special shout out to our good friend Josh Schwam, helping us out on social media tonight. Josh, the Sunshine State Schwam. I think that's a new nickname for him, helping us out while he's away from Peoria. Appreciate his assistance tonight and always. Larry Larson, Gavin Russell in the booth with you. Cody Roskins hard at work on the stats machine. Joey Wright behind the controls tonight, rolling out some new graphics. Looking smooth, and Brock Alkire doing a great job on his first time on camera. Morton leads Dunlap 41-26. Just about 3.5 minutes to play. Open baseline jumper from Ellie Van Meenen is off, but Krupa is right there, and she falls short as well. Dunlap needs to go. They've put together a great fourth quarter. Erickson nearly had it tipped away. Now it's Morris in trouble, and a timeout taken by Heather Cassidy. It'll be a 30-second timeout. You figure that she just knows that Dunlap can't waste any possessions.
No, it was a good timeout. I mean, you see Morris maybe being a little over-aggressive there, almost getting a turnover, but a good timeout there, kind of settle things down. You got the ball, you got to stop at the other end. Now an opportunity for you to maybe kick out, get a 3, get an open look on the inside, maybe get to the charity stripe. There's a lot of ways you can continue to get back into this game. Of course, time's starting to run out a little bit, but every possession crucial. You never know if you make a bucket here, run some things together. You just never know. Basketball is an unpredictable game.
Well, at this point, Dunlap pretty much has to score on every single possession. Erickson in trouble, almost got a 5-second call. Gavin, one thing that's really turned the momentum has been the rebounding for Dunlap. Morton dominated the boards in the first half, but Dunlap has gotten the rebound margin back within 6 after Morton led by 10+ in the first half. Sutter's 3 falls short. The offensive board goes to Morris. She'll try a triple, and it misses right. Hutcherson traveled.
Maybe just Morris' presence out there that's just striking some fear in the Morton players there. She is forcing countless amounts of turnovers in this fourth quarter.
I don't know if we've mentioned it enough. Morris is only a freshman, playing like a senior tonight. A lob pass into the post for Fassett, and that'll be a jump ball. Gavin, we have not seen many jump balls tonight. I think that might be our first.
That may be our first, Larry. I think you're right. Goes in the way of Morton, doing a good job defending the paint there and forcing a turnover.
Griffin into Krupa. The fader blocked by Fassett, and that's another jump ball.
Well, we don't have one all night, and then back-to-back possessions go for a jump ball. Interesting.
Full court press comes out for the Potters. Dunlap needs a small miracle to come back and tie this one after going scoreless in the second quarter. And in hindsight, that really cost them, needless to say. Without that, I think if Dunlap even picks up a few buckets as Fassett scores there, even if Dunlap picks up a few buckets in that second quarter, I think this one has a much different complexion. Krupa and one.
And although Dunlap has come back in a big way in this fourth quarter, I think anytime they start to really string something together, there's Morton with a big response. A 3, get to the free throw line. Katie Krupa, chance for an old-fashioned three-point play right there.
Krupa knocks in the free throw, and the senior got it back dialed in here in this fourth quarter. Boy, did she make an impact tonight. Lily Sutter and the Eagles looking for some positives. Erickson chucks it up and misses. Long rebound goes down to Hobson. And of course, you just got to applaud the effort from Dunlap. They played their best ball in the fourth quarter after entering the quarter trailing by 21 points, and it's not often you say that. Katie Krupa having her way with the Eagles tonight. My goodness. She's got 21.
Most of that coming in the first half, Larry. Been relatively quiet, but making a couple of big plays in the final minutes of this game.
Here's Morris, who had a huge impact on this game. She's blocked. Rebound falls to Krupa. That one almost fell straight out of the sky. Hobson will go to the free throw line.
Staying aggressive.
Coming up next for both teams, Dunlap will take on Limestone again. And Morton has one heck of a weekend coming up. They travel to the Alice Ingersoll Gymnasium in Canton on Friday. That's always a fun trip. And then on Saturday, they travel to the Lions Den to take on the Peoria Lions in a state-ranked matchup. Katie Krupa to the bench, gets a nice ovation from the Potters faithful here in Dunlap. But that one will be on ClutchSportsIL.com on Saturday night at 6:30. Circle that one on your calendars, folks. It's oftentimes that we talk about game of the year candidate, game of the month, game of the week, whatever. That could be a state game of the year. That's a state caliber matchup.
I hope a lot of people tuning in from all over the state for that great matchup.
Jumper misses from Steffen, and there's a tie-up with 37 seconds to go. Some other schedule news, give you maybe a peek behind the curtain here. Coming up on Friday, you look around the area schedule, you see any big games, Gavin? I don't know if you looked.
Well, usually you can look for a team, Metamora, when they're involved. I think, they have a big one coming up this week. I don't know.
I think Metamora is playing Washington on Friday at the Torrey Gymnasium, and you guessed it, we will be there as well. So a big rest of the week coming up for CSM, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube. You can find all the games right there or on the homepage of our website. Nice smooth move and a baseline J for Peyton Haley. Under 10 seconds to go. Glad you joined us for the entirety of this one. Dunlap playing hard until the final buzzer, especially Morris. Boy, has she been impressive.
She's going to be a good one for Dunlap, especially in a couple of years, get a little more experience. Future is bright.
It is an 18-point victory for the Morton Potters on the road over the Dunlap Eagles. Morton 48, Dunlap 30, led by 21 points from Katie Krupa.
Yeah, just, there's a lot of defense, a little bit of a sloppy play early on. We saw a lot of turnovers, a lot of steals, a lot of blocks, things of that nature. 18-point victory. Both of the meetings, Morton won by 18 this season. The last game was a little more offensively dominated. This one, defense dictated things a little bit more. So Morton coming out, flexing their muscle a little bit, getting a solid conference victory.
As we mentioned, Krupa with 21 points. Dunlap led by Sutter and Erickson, who had 6 apiece. That's tough for Dunlap, who played without 2 starters in Julia Solberger and Sophia Remmel. Those 2 players generally fill it up, so you need players like Sutter and Erickson to step up. And with 6 points, it just was not enough tonight.
Well, this is a tough matchup either way. Morton, a state ranked for a reason. But this is going to help Dunlap learn a lot. You got some players, maybe, Morris getting this a little extra time than she normally would. She had an outstanding game, I think, especially on defense. It helps these teams learn a little bit. You learn a little more about yourself, and going forward, this is going to make them a stronger program.
So that about does it here from Dunlap tonight. Dunlap falls to 9-11, while Morton, ranked 2nd in 3A, improves to 16-2. So for our entire crew, my partner Gavin Russell, our stats man Cody Roskins, our producer Joey Wright, our cameraman Brock Alkire, and Josh Schwam, the Sunshine State Schwam, down in Florida at the Sticks on social media. This is Larry Larson saying so long, and thank you for watching this presentation of Clutch Sports Media. We'll talk to you later this week.